Daniel, because I know you're in the chat making some pasta, which I'm pretty sure tastes really bloody good. But Loki first boot.
What? He's clearly the winner.
Why is he going to win? How is he clearly the winner? I don't see it. I don't see it. How's he the winner?
Every single week they're going to go, Pastor Dan's in trouble. Every single week. Pastor Dan's in trouble. Pastor Dan's never in trouble. Macedonian Jesus got Georgia second. What can the real Jesus do? First place. And that's what I say to you, haters.
Daniel. First person voted out of Australian Survivor Redemption. Daniel.
Tēnā koutou katoa, everyone, and welcome back to Mucky Hope Productions. I'm your host, Mucky Hope, and man, tonight's a great night. Tonight's a very special night because I'm here with two very lovely people. You know, we've had some beef, we've had some contact, throughout the season. We all did a draft together, and the man who hosted the draft on the far right is one of the most useless people that I ever know. You can't rely on him. Can't trust him. He's constantly full of shit. But most importantly, he's got very useless facts. Everyone, please welcome the great useless Australian Survivor Facts. How's it going, bro?
No, I've had enough. Cut the camera. Get off. Get off. After that, that is ridiculous. No. All good fun. You win some, you lose some, and unfortunately, I forgot his name, but he's in the past.
He is in the past, but the memory will always stay in my heart though, useless, because such a great moment. You're so confident with Daniel. I believe he was your winner pick of the season, and you were technically right. He was first something, so yeah.
Well, it's like if you get last, you get your money back, right? So I think that's a thing. And if not, they should make it a thing.
Well, joining us for the very first time as well, I have so much hatred towards this very one person. We all did a draft together, and I was like, look, all I want is just the New Zealanders, right? Kiwi pride, New Zealander pride. And she took this away from me. She took everything away from me. She took away one of my favorite people, one of my favorite shows away from me, and I'll never forgive her for that. But I'll be somewhat nice because it is her first ever podcast. Everyone, please welcome the lovely Nikki. How's it going, Nikki?
I'm doing well. It didn't really work out for me stealing Kat anyway, so I feel like it was like karma. She was gone day 2. Yeah. It was over. That feud, I feel like, was short-lived. But grudges do get held and never forgotten. So I won't apologize. I won fair and square for that first pick. So
yeah, you did. I did try to cheat, but didn't work out.
Didn't work.
But yeah, I was very sad to see Kat go, but I was more happy to see you get screwed over by it. So
yeah, I didn't know how I felt. I was sad to see it go, but I knew you would have been happy because I got screwed over. So it was like a double blow.
Yeah, well, we're here to talk about. Yeah, we're here to talk about the cast of Australian Survivor Redemption and Useless. It's been quite a few weeks now since the finale of Australian Survivor Redemption. How's the season sort of feeling for you? Are you do you still feel the hype of it? Did you really enjoy it? Or as time's sort of gone past, are you like, nah, it was kind of a dud?
I think it was a good season. I definitely think it falls in that middle range when you talk about best seasons ever kind of thing. I don't think it was a letdown at all. I think the theme itself didn't really play much of a part to the whole season. So it just felt like, 2016, 2017, no theme kind of. We didn't get these ridiculous versus battles that we've seen in previous seasons. And I just think it made for good gameplay from start to finish. And I think that's why a lot of people might have seen it as a bit of a lull, because it didn't have high highs. But to me, it never had a low. So consistent season. It did remind me of kind of the 2017 season with returnees. Yeah. I don't mind returnees coming back. I know a lot of people like either full newbie or full returnee. Not like the captain seasons, but I think they added a lot. And again, a lot of the theme was, instead of having a versus tribe, it was against the returnees. And I think a lot of the newbie players played with them and then surpassed them as well. So I think it was a success, and I just hope the following seasons don't try and go down the rabbit hole of trying to top other seasons and just be their own season.
Yeah. Well, Nikki, this is like a new age of Australian
Mm.
Survivor, not new era. You know, that word is tainted now. It's new age
Yeah.
of Australian Survivor
like
with
that.
new executive producer. I believe the production team is relatively new, and obviously with new hosts in terms of David. How did this season sort of feel for you?
I actually really liked this season. I kind of agree with Useless that I feel like there weren't really any low lows. We're just kind of riding that high. I think David was great towards the end. I know there were so many people hating online and it just felt so unnecessary. You know, you compare him to JLP, he's got 11 years of experience. Like David
Yeah.
really, I think in that final episode helping Jackson and everything, that solidified that he can be a really good empathetic host. So
Yeah.
I quite liked it. There was a few things where I was just like, oh, a bit strange, especially with like the idol plays, you know, the one that Brooke and Lyndall had to swap. That didn't really
Yeah.
make sense, saying that it had to be used by a certain tribal, but not telling the audience that. So I think there was some editing errors in it that I wasn't really like too stoked on. But all in all, I think it was a really good season.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And Useless, I believe you even brought that up on the podcast as well, that like, yeah, production had just hidden this whole massive information about the idol, how it had to be used right before the swap.
Yeah, I'll always say this. I think they think their audience isn't intelligent enough to understand the more difficult things in Survivor. Like the reason that they want the idol to be played before a certain time is because you can tribe swap. We obviously saw in Champions vs Contenders 2 that Janine held on to the switch idol, then she switched to the contenders. So she has a contenders idol even though she didn't switch it. So the reason for that is they wanted the switch to happen. I just don't understand why they didn't tell us that it needed to be played. It makes Brooke look a little bit silly playing an idol when she's clearly not in trouble. And then it's like Lyndall goes soon after and they're like, why didn't she play her idol? Well, she never even had it. So it's just things like that. And even like we've obviously talked about this, Mucky, but the challenge music just didn't seem as intense. So I'm not sure if they just wanted to make the challenges seem less of a big deal. Like we know Australian Survivor is known for their big challenges. It's one of the reasons a lot of US Survivor fans have converted is because new era Survivor, a lot of the challenges are the same. They're kind of dainty puzzle, dainty puzzle. Whereas Australian Survivor is just like hit, crash, bang. You actually have to go hard early because the end thing is just throwing at something you can't really catch up hugely. Obviously, there is still a chance to come back, but the time gap is much shorter. So you can't be a passenger in challenges. And I just think they just didn't emphasize it. Like maybe they're trying to trick the audience of, oh, the challenge won't be done because we haven't done the big hooray music yet. But I definitely think that was the only thing that probably let down this season is the editing side was a bit, not what we're used to in Australian Survivor.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
completely agree. And I think as well with that, again, that Lyndall idol, her episode, she still had her immunity idol next to her name when it should have been expired. So there was like little
Yeah.
things like that where I was just like, so what's the truth? And again, it just makes Brooke look silly again when she's like, I didn't have to, like, I had to use it, go online and defend herself. And then the next day, Lyndall can still use it. It was just a bit odd.
Yeah. And something that Australian Survivor memes Michelle and I all chatted about was even in like some of the 1v1s as well, there are people like there was like that mud challenge, for example, and some people are like
Yeah.
clearly just covered in mud from like head to
Yeah.
toe, but we never see them play. And it's like it's almost like with a sporting match, whether if a team just completely landslides the other, it's like 10-1, or if it's like such a even, close game, people want to see it. People always want to see it
Yeah.
regardless. And so I think just do that with the challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
This is my biggest pet peeve with the versus challenges. And I went over with Michelle what they could do in these challenges to make them more exciting. Don't do versus. get everyone involved, have your people who need to sit out. And it's like that challenge with the slingshot with the people standing. If they fall off the beam, they're out of the challenge. If it hits you and you stay on the beam, you're still in. And it's one of those hard ones where it's like Mark was like, oh, there's nothing else I can do. And then Don is saying, oh, like if we had someone better on the slingshot. But we only see Mark miss once, which was clearly not the case. And then going back to that is a player like Blanche, they were calling her a challenge beast, and I record all the wins and whatever. And Blanche has a grand total challenge beast score of 8. When you compare that to Simon, who had 53. So it's not like there's like that is like it's like she's not even competing. We've had this in Brains versus Brawn 1 where Gerald shown in the promo that he's competing, but he's not even competing in the show. Tez's credits, he's doing the tug of war, but he never does the tug of war in the episode. So it's either you don't have versus challenges if you're not going to show the whole thing. We've seen it in the auction where you'll see someone eating pizza, but they're never given the pizza in the edit. So if you go back to the US, what they've done this year, and instead of like kind of do a montage, and like, if you're going to do those verses, show all the battles, because I've seen it in other seasons as well. So one person will compete 3 times and someone won't even compete once, yet they've not sat out. And I think, don't think the audience is not going to understand.
And I can confirm as well, because Blanche said it on the deep dive, she competed in the slingshot challenge 4 times.
Wow.
And
it's such a disservice to the cast, like to each castaway, like not giving them their time to shine. And also, especially on an era of being online and so much online commentary, it's so easy to be like, oh, this person does nothing when they're not being shown their skills and their abilities.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's the case for most people except for Tez. I mean, Tez really
I was about
did
to
nothing.
say, that's not about Tez.
we all hate Tez here. This is the anti-Tez podcast. But no. This could be the trailer. No, but Nikki, just before we do get into the cast, because obviously I've had Useless on like many times, like everyone knows what our thoughts and feelings are on Australian Survivor as a whole. What's your thoughts and feelings on Australian Survivor as a product, as a show, like just in general?
I love Australian Survivor. I just find it's it's almost like sport. Like there is so much strategy to it. It's physical, it's mental. Whenever I tell people why I like it, I'm like, it's like watching sport. You have your favorite players, you're rooting for them, especially with Australia. There's just the twists, the votes. There's always something, and they always have like most of the time, most seasons have a really good cast, and there's always someone you can relate to. And something with just Australians, we're just so chill and so funny that the show is funny. It's entertaining. It's got a mix of like everything that you would love, and it's also fun to just dissect and pick on people that you've never met before living on an island for 49 days.
Yeah, I mean, I think even Luke had posted the reel was like watching someone like do like kind of average at a challenge, and then it's just like a really fat person on a couch be like, oh, you suck, that's
literally that's how it feels. You're like, wow, I do such a better job. And you're like, no, they're starving. Like, I get a headache. I need to lie down. I don't need to go do a big obstacle course.
Yeah. And just really quick, who's your favorite player ever? And what is your favorite season?
I love Shani. I'm a Shani girl. I feel like we're kindred spirits. She's just a lot more put together than I am. If I ever had to play, it would be very Shani-like, use that kind of ditziness when you're actually quite clever. My favorite season, honestly, I don't know if I have one. Titans vs Rebels is too obvious. I feel like everyone loves that. Honestly, I like the Champions vs Contenders. I think it was 2 where Pia won, because that was the first one I really got into, and I was going through a rough time when that was released. So I feel like a little bit of love for that season. I didn't like that Pia one, but it was a good season. Had some good plays in it. I really liked it.
Yeah, I think once Luke got voted out that season, I think everyone was just like, fuck this, we're done.
Literally. I'm like, none of you deserve to be there, but best
what a coincidence. That's when I started my page, Nikki. So I wonder.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's when my
Whoa.
page went public. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like the stat taking was just me sending it to memes, and he was like, "Just make your own page," and I was like, "Okay,
They're like, oh, okay.
I will. I will go on
Yeah.
Facebook to my 12 friends and say,
Yeah.
this is what's happening on Survivor this week."
Yeah. And how
Look
about
at you now.
how about you, Useless? Like obviously we all know what your favorite season is, which is the worst season of all time. But who's actually your favorite player of all time?
So I'll probably just say, that's actually put me on the spot because I love an underdog, like a player that no one likes. Like I'm just different. Like
That was
Josh
Rogue.
Woodgate is like my favorite non-known player. I mean, he finished 4th in Blood versus Water, which is the greatest season of all time, and he only got outwitted by someone who had played the game. So, but if we're just gonna say like as like a favorite, I might even just sneakily go Lee Castledine.
Ooh.
From 2016. Also, he did play for the Adelaide Strikers, which is like my home base team, even though he's from Queensland. So that's just like a throwback as well, like EA Sports
Yeah.
Cricket 2005, Lee Castledine opening the batting. So then he's on Survivor, and like it's really sad that his Survivor journey ended the way he did, and now he's probably past where his strengths can really do him well. So I don't think we'll ever see him again. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Lee Castledine.
Yeah, I actually do feel like the redemption theme probably actually suits him though. Like he is yet to be voted out. And I think in All Stars, I don't
He
think he
never
received a
received a
vote in
vote.
All Stars.
He's
Yeah.
literally received one vote in 87 days or 82 days or how many days, because he obviously lasted the full 55 days, and I'm not sure how many days he lasted on All Stars off the top of my head. But yes, he only received a one vote, and it was at the final 4 where Flick voted for him because Elle had immunity, and then obviously the Aganoa 3 all vote Flick. So he's never been in danger of going home. The only times he's won immunity. I feel like, again, this is the whole reason I started doing the background checks of why has Christy Bennett beaten Lee Castledown? How is this even possible? Because like that's when it happened, and I've done the classic watching it on South Australian time, and pops up Christy Bennett, winner of Survivor, while Final Tribal Council's still going on. And then me and my brother, like my brother literally, he just threw his phone and just walked out. And he was like, "Why have you ruined it? Why?" I was like, "Well, I didn't know it was gonna pop up."
Yeah.
But also, but it's that fact checking of, oh, actually Survivor's not just being the most likable person. Like obviously it helps. It's not about winning challenges. What it is moving yourself throughout a game and being respected by your peers. And I think that's the thing that gets lost in translation the most, is it's being respected by your peers. It's not being respected by the millions or hundreds of thousands of people watching on their couch. Like their opinions don't matter. And I think it's actually like a worldview. Like you should be more concerned about your inner circle than the outer circle. And I think that's why Survivor's so great.
Yeah.
Well, Nikki, because I know for sure that Useless knows exactly what my favorite season is and who my favorite player is. So I'd like for you to take a guess. Who do you think is my favorite player of all time? And who do you think, what season do you think is my favorite?
I feel like you were kind of into it kind of around the All-Stars area, like the earlier seasons. But I feel like as I say that, you're like, no, it's not at all.
I could be.
Hot,
I could be.
hot.
Yeah, you are pretty hot.
I'm gonna say, oh, what about?
Yeah.
Sir, we got him.
We got him. Clip that chat. Clip it.
Oh, what about the Outback? What season was that? Was that after All Stars? Was that the year after?
That was after All Stars, yeah.
6 and 7.
I'm gonna go, yeah. I'm gonna go that one, and I don't know. I feel like some reason, honestly, I have Haley in my head. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. So, Kirby.
Wait, so just confirming, you're saying that my favorite season is Brains vs. Brawn 1 and my favorite player is Kirby?
Yes, that's so wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, you're very, very wrong. You're very close though. My favorite season of all time is season 2.
Oh,
However, Australia vs. the World is starting to creep up there now because I'm starting to get the nostalgia. Like the nostalgia is starting to like hit me now. And so it's definitely climbing up the ranks. But my favorite play ever is none other than the King of the Jungle himself.
That's
He actually sent
Simon.
me this hat.
Oh, it is Luke.
No, it was Luke.
Is that
No,
Luke?
wrong way. Yes. Creeping baby.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
Luke, but I was like,
That's
that's
my
too
favorite player.
obvious.
I feel like
Yeah.
Mucky's getting real screwed over in the draft because Brandon, not Brendan, Brandon has Creepin is his name, named after Luke.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And now you're taking his picks. So Mucky, he's getting all the
Yeah.
leftovers, but the leftovers nearly
Yeah.
won him the game. So
Wait, as
Yeah.
who's got Luke already in their team? Is it Creepin Crawlies?
I would assume so because we first started in All Stars. So whoever took him in Ozverse World would have him. So
Yeah.
All Stars is when we did the first draft. And unfortunately, Flying Squirrels won that season as well. And
Oh,
he doesn't even
bloody
watch the
Flying
show
Squirrels.
anymore. He just
That's so
he just loves
funny.
gambling.
I was still so pissed. So for those that don't know, all of us, we all did like a draft together. And in my team, I had Usher, Jackson, Sally, and Loz. 3 out of the final 4, and I still came second. I
didn't
was
last.
bloody pissed. Wait, useless. Did you come second to last?
Was it me or you? I think
You
It was
came
one
last.
of you two.
Oh,
I think I just passed. I think Keely saved me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, true.
Unlucky.
Yeah. Very,
But I did
very
win
unlucky.
Oz versus the world, so
Nice.
That's
Who's
more
your picks
important.
for Australia versus the world?
I had Parvati, Janine, I think we only had 3 players because there was I think I had Parvati, Janine, and the guy from Finland. Oh, it's
Tommy.
Oh, he's
Tommy.
so cute.
Yeah.
I think that
Tommy.
because I actually thought Janine, Tommy, and Lisa was going to be the final 3 in Oz vs the World, and Janine was going to win that season. I thought like if Janine was going to win a season, it would have to be in like where everyone's rich already. So, and I mean, nearly if Tommy didn't blow up his whole game at that double tribal council.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Shall we actually get to what we all came here to do? A cast ranking for Australian Survivor Redemption. Shall we get started?
Let's do
I think
it.
we can.
We've got multiple different tiers for this list. So we have Golden. Obviously, the season is hosted by the Golden God. So Golden's like literally the top, like the best of the best, like super phenomenal this season. Then we have All Star. So All Star, or All Stars, is like you'd love for them to come back like the next opportunity they can. So the next like All Stars, second chance, game changers, like redemption captain season, like any full returning play season, you'd want to see them there. Second Z's is like you wouldn't mind them a second time, like if they popped up in like a second chance kind of season or another season in the future, like you're still happy, it's like, is it your first pick? Nah, but like second season's fine. And then one night stand. So obviously, one season stand, one night stand, nothing but a cheeky naughty fling and a flick. And only time we ever get to see them. And I guess we'll start off with David as a host. What did you guys think? Was he like the best host ever? All-star host? One night stand, you don't want to see him as a host ever again? Like, what's your sort of thoughts on David as a host?
For me personally, I think you've got to let him grow into the role. So I would say just for this season alone, he's in that second seed. Like it took him a while to get in. I think he's got a lot to offer because he's been in the seat of tribal council. He's been on the other side. Obviously, I think I agree with Nikki that his best moment of the season was when he was seeing Jackson. Like David's been in that final challenge, he probably didn't get to the level of pain that Jackson got into, but he knew that Jackson needed this. It was everything for Jackson. And to see him being like, I know you want this, brother, but you're going to die if you don't come down, gets him down. I think he's got room to improve, but I think the fan base needs to let him have time to move.
Yeah.
So he's a second seed host at the moment, but hopefully he's on the way up.
Well, for almost the exact same reasons, I think All-Star.
Yeah. I'm the same with you, Mucky.
Yeah, because I feel like pre-merge is like, like you're still growing into it. You can kind of see some stuff he's doing that's similar with JLP, some stuff that he's seen from Jeff, and like, sort of advice has been given. But post-merge onwards, he really came into his own. And I loved what he was doing in terms of challenge commentary, the way he was like organizing tribals and stuff like that as well. He just let the players play. And you can't say that about American Survivor anymore. So I'm personally willing to put him in All-Stars.
Yeah,
I'm the same.
Happy to put him in the All-Stars for his off show work, which again I try and avoid kind of promos and that sort of stuff because I want have my own opinion on the show. But he definitely, with his pre-production, apparently he was using his own money to do those hat drops and buff drops. So happy to put him in the All-Stars, just that alone.
Yeah, I was going to mention that he put some of his own money to make sure like the preseason stuff went well and at least giving it a go. So he's one of us. He's one of the fans. So I put him at All-Star.
Really is. And I heard from Michelle as well that he rocked up to the Sydney Survivor premiere party and just started like handing out Survivor buffs and getting photos with everyone. It's just like, hey guys, you all excited for the season? He didn't have to do it. He just showed up and did it. So,
he is for the fans.
Exactly. And he lives in Texas as well. So like he's literally in like a different country just for the fans. So yeah.
Amazing.
Mad job to David.
With that, because I thought he would have moved back to WA. So the fact that because I think that was my biggest thing with JLP is like, he lives in LA. It's just, I think there was just a bit of disconnect. But David living in Texas and still putting in all this extra work, even better.
Exactly. And let's move on to our first ever contestant. Nikki, I'll start with you. Asha. Where does Asha sort of fit?
I did my own little list, so I was like, I'm ready for this. I would put her as a second Z. I don't think she was All-Star material, but I really want to see her play again. I think she went a little bit too hard, a little bit naive, but I feel like if she came back, she can learn from those mistakes and be a really, really good player. So I'm putting her as second Zs.
Yeah, so for me, I think All-Star. And I think just simply for the fact alone that she went home with Blanche's idol, such a great story to come back on. So similar thing with Simon. I got taken out 2 idols from my pocket and stuff. She went home with someone else's idol in her pocket. And I think she played hard, very overconfident, very naive. And I think how she played and how she went out was so grand and so spectacular compared to some of the other newbies that we're probably going to be talking about. So I'd probably say All-Star. Like for the impact she had being a pre-merger, I think it's pretty big. How about you, Useless?
I'm going to go on the second seed here, similar to Nikki, because I think she just made too many mistakes. I think if she had a time again, like obviously I think she would have played that first advantage she got. I think she should have put herself in the shoes that Caleb was put into, whereas you can come in and kind of sabotage a tribe on your own. And then again, it's one of those ones where it's so hard when people are yelling at the TV, why are you teaming up with the old school players? But I think that is the best thing about Caleb is he was able to read the room that you needed to play with these players until you like grew to be your own big player. Asha, I think she tried to run before she knew how to walk. And for that reason, I'd just say she's a second seed player.
All right. Once again, bloody Nikki and Useless teaming up against me. It's pretty much the draft all over again. I'm sick of this shit. We're gonna need Michelle and Brendan to help us out. But Useless. We've got AFL legend Ben Davis. Played what? 11 games. Half of them were on the bench. Yeah,
Yeah.
like he's the Richie McCaw of AFL.
Yeah. And just another fun fact, another person that's in our draft actually dated his brother. So that's Adelaide has
Ooh.
12 people that live here. So just a little fun fact. And she came fourth because Ben wasn't able to get the win for her. So I think Ben is that all-star caliber player. I think he was under-edited. And if things kind of went differently in the season, he definitely could have been a main protagonist in a all newbie season. So if he came back for a second chance or a, revenge or rivals kind of thing with the way Jackson voted him out, if he came back for a season like that, I think, yeah, he's the first person you call up. So I definitely think he's an all-star caliber character, and I think he's an underestimated game player as well.
Yeah, no, I think it's for me it's between second season all-star because I do wonder how much of a game he was actually playing pre-merge. I think he was learning as he was playing, so I do wonder what a second time round for Ben Davis would actually look like. But then again, there's probably the way to actually play Australian Survivor, just be the challenge piece everyone needs pre-merge, and then since merge starts, really just kick the strategy into high gear. So
Yeah,
I'm kind of indifferent.
I think people have to realize that Australian Survivor is a marathon, not a sprint, and going out hard early, it's just so hard to maintain such a big thing. And he only went to 3 tribal councils pre-merge, so you can't really say much about his tactics in that situation. He was on the bad end of a swap, which then he joined a majority alliance, which was actually originally a minority. So it's not like he wasn't playing the game in the pre-merge. Obviously, that Beauty and the Beast to get out Usher. So I definitely think he is in that next level.
Yeah, I'm a little bit like you, Mucky. I'm very on the fence. I think he's a really good narrator. He's a really good narrator. He's very good. It was very Golden God the way that he interacted with the camera and everything. Of course, Challenge Beast. I just don't know if he was good enough gameplay as an all-star. So I think I'm going to put him as a second Z.
Well, just to screw with Useless because he put Usher in second Z's, I'm going to put Ben Davis in second Z's as well. See, this is where the cast ranking gets political. We're now going to start taking sides. We're going to
the pros were robbed. In front of me. Again, that's a very Adelaide meme, so I'm not sure if it's made its way up to Brisbane and definitely not across the ditch.
Oh, no, it does not.
But
I was just laughing at how over the top it was. Yeah, I have no idea what you're, screaming about.
I'm sure someone will be like, "Ha, I get it."
Yeah,
I'll send you the link and you can edit it in.
Okay, awesome. I'm sure one of the 12 people in Adelaide is also a fan of Mucky Productions. So.
So they'll get it.
Yeah. Well, next up we've got Blanchy, and it's a hard one for me because I adore Blanche. She's genuinely one of the greatest people I've ever had the pleasure of meeting, of chatting with. I send her voice messages every single day. I'll start with you, Nikki, because I know I'm going to be super biased with my answer. Where's Blanche going?
I adore Blanche. I feel like she didn't get a good enough edit, but I think she's second Z. Pardon me. I just don't think there was enough moves on her end. And like we were saying, it says that she's a challenge beast, blah, 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 but we didn't get to see that. So it's a really hard one to kind of be a judge for. But she's definitely not a one-night stand. I would see her again, second Z.
Useless.
No,
shaking his head. Useless. Wait. Just before you get mad, my answer is that she's actually golden. I think she was one of the best characters, one of the best players on the season, an under-edited challenge beast. We talked about on the deep dive together that it was almost like kind of walking around and having the rake smack you on the face because her first ride or die was Cat, she goes, Then the next ride or die was Johnson. He goes. The next ride or die was Usher. Then Usher goes. And the next ride or die was Lottie, and she goes. So every single tribal she went to pre-merge, 4 of her most closest allies went out. Bang, 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 bang. And I think that's pretty golden, if you ask me.
She does have a record. She was in the game for over a month and never voted anyone out.
That's golden. That's absolutely golden.
For her cartwheel alone will get her a one-night stand. Otherwise, she's not even on the chart.
But what about the high kicks too? The high kicks, the cartwheel, like
it was so good. I'd like to see you do a cartwheel and get a immunity.
You're useless. Why don't you try to do a cartwheel?
I will. If I'm on the island, I'll do a cartwheel and I'll vote someone off. I'll cartwheel after voting someone off. I'll go, you're going home, and then do a cartwheel on my way back.
See, I feel like if I was to do that, I'll just fall off the tribal council set because I always go like sideways. But if I try and cartwheels, it would be a massive health and safety hazard.
Episode 1.
Just for trying to do a cartwheel out of tribal.
Okay.
Well,
but we are being serious here. So
yes, so golden.
This is a serious podcast.
Yeah, we're very serious, useless. I reckon she's golden. On the season, all of her close allies went out in a row. She was an unedited challenge piece because we didn't get to see it. She was super blind, so she can't see the idol. So she had to get someone else to find the idol for her.
I forgot about that.
How is that not a golden player?
Now, you might edit this out. I feel like Helen Keller could have played a better game than March.
I don't even know who Helen Keller is. I don't know if I believe
She was blind and deaf, but she was somehow able to write a book. I don't know.
Oh.
Do they not have schools in New Zealand?
I think Blanche deserves more than a one-night stand.
Well, how about All Star?
Mucky, I'm gonna strong arm you here. Put her in the one night stand, or we're leaving. I'm going.
I don't think she was all-star worthy. I'm gonna be the peace advocate here. I think secondly, I don't think she was more than a one-night stand.
All right. Secondsies it is then. Useless. Like, I'm quite surprised to see you be so vocal about putting Blanche into secondsies.
I feel like she's a mixture of Kelly and Kitty into one. And I think we've...
No.
But that's literally like the greatest combination of all time, though. like it actually is. Yeah. Now you better be careful when voting me out because I have a 6-figure business in Australia,
and I'm a psychologist.
Yeah, and I'm a psychologist with a 6-figure business. Oh gosh! All right, now we're moving on to Brooke, our first returning player. Here on the I completely forgot what we're doing. The cast ranking. Our first returning player on the cast ranking. Nikki, where's Brooke for you?
Without a doubt, golden. She is such just a beast. She's good at what she does. She knew exactly what she was doing. She just got done that fake idol with Keely. I adore Brooke, so maybe that's a bias, but golden.
Yeah, my only qualm with Brooke is that twice now she needed to go to Rocks and she actively chose not to go to Rocks, and in both times she's lost. If she maybe taken that Rock draw, maybe her side wins and maybe that's how she makes it to the end. But yeah, but I would agree. I would say Brooke is a golden player. Literally season 1 OG comes into like she was probably the best player in season 1, or one of the best players season 1, comes into All Stars. She's numbered, I'll say she's probably 3 behind David and Shawnee. It's like the best players / characters on All Stars. And she's, she's up there on this season too. And I think 7th, 4th, and 6th, making single digits all 3 times you play, I think really has something to say. How about you, Useless?
Yeah, I think we should buy a lottery ticket because all three of us are agreeing she is golden,
She's
double-digit
golden.
individual immunities.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's on. I think she's on the Australian Survivor Mount Rushmore. I think it's one of
Ooh.
those hard ones where it's like we don't have enough winners on it because there's only 4 players and a lot of the returning players haven't won. But I think she goes above Haley, even though Haley has won. I think she has to be on Australian Survivor Mount Rushmore now.
I don't know, because for
Yeah, I
me,
agree.
Mount Rushmore is David, Luke, George, Shawnee.
Yeah, I kicked off George for Luke after Oz vs World. So I had mine would have been David, Haley, Luke, Shawnee.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Brooke is the greatest individual challenger of all of Survivor in the world. No one's
Yeah.
beaten her record. Boston Rob, they keep on going in Survivor 50 about Boston Rob's record. I don't think he's ever going to play again. Aussie never beat it, and I don't think he'll play again. I think she'll have that record forever. And I
Yeah,
think
Yeah.
she's on there.
the
Like if
legacy.
there's if you have it at Mount Rushmore, the best social player, the best strategic player, the best challenge beast, and the best winner, I think those 4 are the best. And then obviously Luke and George could be interchangeable, depending on what you value most.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, Nikki, what's your Australian Survivor Mount Rushmore?
Usually, I feel like it's like the face of Australian Survivor, and I do feel like there was that like golden era of Australian Survivor, like from season 1 to All Stars. I feel like that was just such, to me, a solid and like nostalgic kind of season era.
Yeah.
So definitely David, Luke, Shawnee. I don't think Brooke was on my top 4, but then it's like, who would it be? I don't know. I don't know who else I would put up there. I love George, but sometimes I feel like he's too much of a liability as well to be on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
It would be like an extra little head on the side kind of thing. Like the cockroach is just there.
Yeah. I think I personally put George there because of what he's been able to do. Like he
Yeah.
makes a lot of mistakes, but then he fixes those mistakes literally by the next day. And I think a lot of moves and gameplay he's pulled off, I think, has been truly phenomenal compared to a player like a Haley, for example, where I do feel like a lot of her game was very dependent on the tribe she was on. She was always on like the loyalty, the more mateshiply, like this gameplay kind of tribes. But she tried going against George and couldn't make it work. And George, second he found out, took out Haley just like that, because of the control he had, is a strategic mastermind. And the fact that while I don't think he did much to help his case in Australia versus the world, I think the fact he came into a 7-person tribe where 4 people are already friends outside the show, 1 person is coming into the season with a revenge arc against him, and he somehow survives the first tribal council, I think is.
He's very good at surviving.
Yes.
Like he walked so Miles could run, really. I feel like, not to compare Miles to George, but they had a very similar gameplay. That kind of can't get rid of them, exterminate them.
Well, it's interesting with Miles because I feel like AJ did so much to protect him as well. So this way I ranked George heavily, like far above Miles, because George didn't have anyone protecting him.
What Nikki is coming from is a player like George, when a player like Miles gets to the end, the jury's going to vote for him because they think that is how to play Survivor, because George played like that.
Yeah.
And I've already talked about this on my rewatch. I was so surprised. Kaylin's final tribal council was amazing. And it is purely out of, I don't want to say jury naivety, because you, as I've said earlier in this video, that you've got to convince your peers to vote for you. And I feel like 99 out of 100 times Kaylin wins in that scenario. But it was this one time, this specific jury, this specific game, that Miles wins it. And it's because George had played the way he had played in previous seasons. So I will agree with Nikki
Yeah.
on that one.
Definitely jury management and kind of playing to the jury and what they like. It changes every single season.
Yeah.
So who's officially your fourth player?
Me?
Yeah, on the Mount Rushmore.
I don't
So
know.
you got.
I'm
Well,
trying to
you have
think. I'm
to
like
come.
going through my head. I'm like, who can I have there? I think Brooke now. I think
You
Brooke.
reckon Brooke? Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's definitely a very iconic four-person team, like David, Luke, Shawnee, Brooke as well. So
Yeah, like I'd like to put a Kirby in there, but like I said, a lot of it's nostalgia for me.
yeah, 100%. Well, speaking of nostalgia, let's move on to Cat. Useless. I was so excited. You know, we did a whole like cast breakdown podcast. Even like I'm pretty sure while the season was like potentially still airing, I think. Oh, not sorry, not airing. Gosh, that's stupid. Filming. Sorry. And one of the players to talk about that I was so excited to see was Kat. I was telling you about all the different moves she was pulling off, how she's so, you know, her intuition was brilliant, you know, like great strategic mastermind, like great social player. And, you know, shit happens, right? And she's the second boot. I would put it in secondsies just because I feel like she tried to jump the gun way too hard against Mark and Faith because she saw that they would take control of the tribe so quickly. But I do wonder if maybe, like, if that move worked out and she gets rid of Faith, it's a completely different season. How far Cat makes it, I don't know, but I think it's a very completely different tribe. Like, I think the Baron tribe is completely different. Bounty 2.0 is completely different as well if Cat is able to pull off this move.
Yeah, I agree. She didn't get enough time. She played like a traders game. It was like she was at the round table trying to call people out for what they were and different games. So I feel like if she went back into it, like, okay, this is Survivor, this isn't the traders, I definitely think she would have had a different game. So yeah, second seed.
How about you, Useless?
Just with everything around Kat, like I think she's just a one night stand. I think she didn't come to the live reunion. I don't know the story behind it. I don't think she had much involvement with any of the cast afterwards. I haven't really seen anything from her. I just think it is one of those things where it was a risk that didn't pay off. I definitely think this season could have been the Johnson Cat season in another lifetime, in another multiverse, but it didn't turn out. And I just don't think we'll ever see her again. And I don't think she'd be interested in coming back. And I don't think production would be interested in her coming back either.
Well, just because, you know, we're saying Kiwi strong, I'm just going to chuck it to secondsies because once again, Useless.
One thing we can agree on.
Yeah, exactly. Nikki, we can disagree on many things, but our love for Kat, you know, will always bring us together. Yeah. And Nikki, now we have one of the most professional yappers in Survivor history. He yapped his way into getting voted out. We've got Mad Dog Cameron. Where does Cameron sit for you?
Cameron, one night stand. I just don't think he really did much. And I think, again, it was the edit of this season. I just didn't see him when they voted him out. I was like, why? What has he done? Like, you could just take him to the end. I don't think there was enough individually that he had done. Like, he didn't really take charge of his own game. It was just kind of there. So, yeah, I don't think I would want to see Cameron again.
Yeah. How about you, Useless? You're shaking your head. You're laughing.
Well, using Mucky's logic, he's got to be golden. Literally, he had the whole game in the palm of his hand in the few votes, getting rid of Harry. And then all of a sudden, Arsha's blindsided. Lottie's blindsided. You know? Even like...
Rich is blindsided.
Rich is like... His whole game fell apart. And yes, he was a yapper. All that sort of stuff. On the serious note, he is the classic. He's a backup. If someone pulled out of an all-star season and then he turns up, He's that guy. He is what the second season tier is supposed to be for. Not Blanche and Cat, but he's at
Yeah.
least, to counterbalance the one night stand, he's at least an all-star. And I think if he got the better edit, he had some great one-liners. I thought he was going to be
Mm.
boring, all this sort of stuff. And then after episode 1, I was like, I need to see more of Cameron. And then there was a reason we didn't see more of him, because once you did see more of him, everyone wanted him gone. So I, just to balance it out, I'm going to say all-stars.
Well, I was thinking second Z's, but I do actually kind of vibe with All Star, because I do think Useless, we talked about it like many times with when it came to the newbies, their whole objective was to get the returning players out. So when everyone's saying that the newbies aren't doing anything, it's like, well, they're trying, they're not just being a goat to one of the returning players, they're actually banding together to get them out. And so while everyone was saying there was a disappointing like Final Four, like in terms of gameplay, it's actually a very interesting Final Four, because they literally overcame every main character of the season to get to that point. Whereas in most other seasons, they'll be like, nah, it didn't work. Let's link up with Simon, link up with Brooke, link up with Keely, link up with Mark, and just let them control the season. So, yeah, I think Cameron's game was like one more day. You know, as long as it's not me, the classic strategy, right? There's one more day, you know, can't go on with one more day. But by constantly playing one more day, you'll never actually get anything really on your resume, though, if that kind of makes sense. I do wonder if maybe like a second season one from him could be interesting.
I kind of hate the whole like, I've got to build the resume. I've got to build the resume. Being in the majority, voting off players, that is building your resume. And yes, it won't stand out, but in a world with ChatGPT, all you have to have on your resume is buzzwords that the jury are going to pick up. And I think this season, the buzzwords were vote out the returning players, which again, he doesn't fully get it on. But it is, Brooke is one of those interesting characters. She had this with a few of the newbies, is like, won't they work together? And Cameron and Brooke is the biggest what if in Australian Survivor. What if Cameron and Brooke work together? But it's like, it might not have even been physically possible, because I think Jackson's biggest downgrade was he went from being top 2 in a majority to being the 4th person in a minority. I feel like it's the worst switch just to get something on your resume. Whereas so Cameron, if he switches, he goes to he's the 5th person on a minority. Why would you want to do that? So yeah, I think with all that being said, he is a backup for an all-star season.
All right, so we're chucking him into secondsies.
I'm happy with that.
Awesome. And now we've got the winner, chicken dinner, Mad Dog Caleb. Useless. I recall we watched the Final Four episode together, and we're like, oh, he's getting the montage. Yeah, he's getting like the winner's montage. So it's either he wins the season or he's taken out. And as the episode's rolling through, you're like, there's only like a couple minutes left of the episode. This must mean that Caleb goes out, and then suddenly the vote is tied, and he takes us out in fire making in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think, and even Jackson says it to Loz, you've given him fire making. Like, it's not like it basically was the king is dead and now the prince is rising from the ashes kind of thing. And like, I know Jericho had that moment in 2017 where Pete is basically saying to Tara, you can't give Jericho, like, if he gets to the end, he'll beat everyone. We have to go with Michelle, who probably can't win the final challenge, and, will be able to go to the end. But it's like, to Loz, she didn't want to close the door on Caleb. And I think that is one of the biggest things. And again, I think it's another underrated thing about Kalen is Kalen, the way he positioned himself in the game is he would always have the choice of who he wanted to take to the end. he takes Miles and he loses. He probably loses to AJ as well. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But it's at least he would have the opportunity to do it, and I think that's what Caleb had. Is he took the opportunities when he could. He takes out Mark when he can, and Mark is in the jury and he still doesn't think Caleb would turn on him. Like, that's how good of a game Caleb played in that sense. And then you see him talking with kind of Loz, oh, are we going to take out Sally? And we'll get to Loz later. But it's like, I think Loz had a bigger hold on the game than a lot of people think. But it's like, oh no, it's not the right time. We've got to get out these returnees. And yeah, I would say Caleb led this charge because Varsha gave him the keys to that tribal council where he can just basically say whatever he wants with no consequences, and he kind of lays that kind of platform to, you know, Dirty Harry goes at that tribal, leads the charge on Mark, obviously wants Simon out, takes out Brooke. So he was ticking all the boxes, and we talk about resume building, and he was doing a checklist basically. Tick, tick, tick. He's now the biggest threat at the Final Four, wins fire making check, biggest threat at Final Three, wins the final immunity, tick, has the choice to who he wants to take, ends up taking probably the person that was more likely to win, but the person that he wanted to beat rather than, you know, take Loz. I don't think he even said, I don't think he had the heart to beat Loz. So he does every move basically correct in the end game, and that just makes him a great winner. So he's obviously in the golden tier as the winner.
I 100% agree.
Yep. You worded that perfectly, Useless.
Thank you.
All right, it's golden. Easy. So we all agreed on Brooke and we all agreed on Caleb. Well, let's get this rolling. Daniel, one night stand.
No, he's not
We
even
agree?
because like he's not even. I don't think they're allowed that, are they, in that religion? So.
Oh, true. Sorry. He's
can
a
stay
one
off the
church
draft.
stand. Yeah.
he can be be on the second Z as if everyone that was voted out first comes back for a season.
I have first votes against runner-ups.
Yeah.
That would be a cool season.
Yeah.
That would be
just so we can see
pretty.
Des again.
Yeah. Anything to see Des, honestly. Anything to see Des. This would be so great. I think even David said that when he was doing like Ask Me Anything. I think like Brendan or Australian Survivor memes was like, which, you know, Australian Survivor alumni would you want, you know, there with you to help like co-host the show? And he wrote Des. Which I thought was just so funny. Yeah. But with me personally, Daniel, like, yeah, it was quite quirky, quite fun and stuff, but had no real, like, the only thing I think about with Daniel is that he was your winner pick, Useless, and just the beautiful meme crafted on you know, if Macedonian Jesus can get George II, what can the real Jesus do? And it's just
nothing.
First person voted out. So for me, it's first boot. Oh, not first boot.
Yeah.
It's one night stand.
I agree. One night stand.
Useless.
I just think the way he handled his first day there just wasn't. I wouldn't want to see that again.
Edit in the meme. You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy.
Yeah. Well, Useless, where's
One
he going to go?
One night stand. Okay,
oh my gosh. We all
On to
agree
the
on
next
2
one.
plays in a row?
My
Wow.
God.
Okay, now with Don, hear me out. I reckon he's golden. I think he's
One night
golden.
stand.
He's
One
one of the
night
most
stand.
funniest players.
Stand.
One of the most funniest players ever. Just hear me out, right? Here's my pitch for Don Rogers, right? He tells everyone, look,
Don
I'm
Roberts?
under. Yeah, exactly. I'm Don Roberts, not Rogers. I'm Roberts. And he goes up to Mark and he's like, oh, I'm actually Don Rogers, Matt Rogers' brother. You played with Matt, yeah? And he says that after he said, oh, I've watched your season and I like your gameplay. So clearly I hasn't actually seen Mark's season.
I loved it when he announced himself to the entire tribe. I can't remember who it was. Like, I don't even know who this guy is. So I have no idea who you're talking about. Iconic.
Yeah.
He was just funny. I just want to put him on an island so he could just build his shelter or something, and we just leave him to it.
Yeah,
Like he's
exactly.
next door or something. Huskings
like-
and coconuts.
Yeah, and I
I
think like because I've been rewatching the season, right? In the first episode, Brooke's like, "Oh, should we dig a hole for the thing?" Nah, this is steady. This is steady. It's gonna be fine. And then the whole shelter just collapses.
And when he made Tez hold the hat, but it had to be held a certain way, the beaver hat.
Yeah,
Who was it? Where he's like, I don't want you to hold my hat ever.
it was with
I
Tez.
think that was Tez.
It was Des.
Yeah.
Poor Des. He couldn't even hold a hat.
So good. That was the only screen
Yeah.
time he got for like a week.
Pretty much, yeah. No, but and then also like yeah, he just announced to the tribe, "Be careful, my hat. It's made out of 10 beavers." It's like 10 beavers that make the
Rest
hat.
in
I-
peace, those beavers.
Exactly. My gosh. Just
They could
like,
have built
how-
a dam to
how-
stop his poor gameplay.
Exactly. Like, how did Tez mishandle 10 beavers? All right. There was a very emotional reaction
We know
from
why.
John. Yeah.
I wouldn't even know what to do with 10 beavers.
But even it's like in the one episode where he was like, oh, like I think we need a split. Oh, just say me, it's fine. And then he just walks off to keep building the shelter. That's top tick. But bro doesn't even care. He just wants to make the shelter. And then
It's so funny.
the one time he actively starts playing, he starts putting in seeds of doubt between Mark, Keely, and Faith. Like, we think about it. Don started a chain that led to Mark blindsiding Faith.
Low-key,
In Don
I
we
think-
trust.
And Don we trust.
Low-key, I do think that being nonchalant can help you, because we see with players like Eden, you get too paranoid and it's bad for your game. So being
Yeah.
nonchalant about like, yeah, I'll just build the shelter while you guys put votes on me so we can vote someone else out. Is like, that's kind of like a great ally to have, and you want to keep them around. But
He's also
He was
doing
like
the
a
work other
golden
people
ally.
don't want to do.
yeah,
Exactly.
I think,
He's literally a golden ally.
I think Don Rogers / Roberts would have been a great Survivor player in 2001.
Yeah. It would have
Yeah.
been really
But-
funny.
It's 2026 and he's a one-night stand.
Yeah,
No,
I hear what you're
surely,
saying,
Nikki.
Mucky, but I just don't think he would add anything to another season except keep us entertained.
Nikki,
So he's a one-night stand.
I thought we were finally reaching a place of love and peace between us, but now my hatred has spiked up once again.
I'm not sorry.
Next season we can be at each other's throats. I just know it.
Yeah.
Eliza, cheeky old Eliza. I'm happy to say here I've done many player interviews, many deep dives. My podcast with Eliza, even though it's like 1 a.m. for me, is the best deep dive I've ever done.
Mm.
The most fun
I like Eliza.
I've had on the most fun I've had like in a play interview as well. Like I was so exhausted. I'd just come off a 16-hour shift at work, and I was so worried that like maybe I'd look so tired it looks like I'm falling in and out of sleep. But Eliza, like, she was so great, so entertaining, and so insightful about so many different things as well. I think she's such a terrific person, and I think she just lucked out. I think, we were talking about the game. The tribe was still like, we just got to vote out someone who we're going to take out. I don't know. Maybe Eliza. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think as well, her heart was in the right place. She was doing the right thing, but Princess just didn't want to be woken up. I'm pretty sure she was awake anyway. She just got pulled out of her bed. So I just think that was a really silly reason to get rid of someone. And Eliza is such a ray of sunshine. I would love to see her on the screen again. So I feel like she's a second Z. We didn't really get to see enough of her to put her as an all-star. That's for me anyway.
Well, I mean, I do understand where Lyndall's coming from, because Nikki, if you're like starving, sleep deprived, and I wake you up and I'm like, hey, Nikki, we're fucked. You know, like we're both on the bottom. We're both gonna be going home in the next 2 months. Yeah.
Her heart was in the right place. She was doing the right thing. I think that was just a personal decision, not a game decision on Lyndall's end.
Yeah. How about you, Useless?
From a relationship standpoint, me and Eliza, I have technically proposed to her. So it'd be terrible to say it's a one-night stand now. But from a game standpoint, yeah, I don't think I want to see Eliza play again. Although I have already said to her that I'm going to win Survivor and then we're going to get married and then we'll both be on Blood versus Water too. So that would suggest that she would be on another season.
And she'll write you a
So,
poem.
yeah, I'm going to have to put her in All Stars if she's going to be on Blood versus Water too with me.
No, I'm happy for that. Let's chuck Eliza into our first player in All Star is just because of Blood vs. Water 2. Woo! And next up, we have my twin sister, actually Nikki, because I do think you know, because I think we're friends on Facebook. My last name is Hope.
Oh, that makes sense.
So I'm
Faith and
Hope,
hope.
and she's Faith. You know, we're basically
Gotta have
twinning.
hope. Yeah, gotta have
Exactly.
faith.
Yeah. Well, it's actually really funny though they say that because I actually did. I don't know if you saw it, Nikki, but right before they went out to film this season, Simon hosted a online Survivor game with like other players and podcasters, and I was a podcaster on it. And
Cute.
in the first round, you had to vote for someone to like have immunity, pretty much, and go to this secret room.
Yeah.
And I literally told everyone, guys, you have to vote for me because if you don't have trust and hope, then who are you going to have trust in? If you don't have faith in me,
Whoa.
what are you going to do? And I was voted
You
to
stole
be
your
immune.
line.
So. Exactly. Yeah. And then there's an actual faith on the season. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a love-hate with Faith. I didn't really like the way she spoke to people, but as a game player, I think she did a really good job, and she will 100% be back as a villain if they ever do like a heroes versus villains or something. She just played into her archetype so well, and she might have come across as mean, but she embraced that. That was the character she was playing. I didn't like it personally. I didn't like the way, but I can't deny her gameplay.
I think
So
Faith
I
is
feel
one
like
of those
that's an
people.
all-star.
Yeah, I feel like Faith is one of those people where like, and I'm sure it's going to be quite similar to another specific play that we're going to be talking about, where it's like, in terms of entertainment, it's like, yeah, they, what I love so much about Australian Survivor is that they create these heroes and villains, these players who you should root for, players you should root against. So with a player like George, he constantly flip-flops between the two because he's the strategic mastermind, he's a villain, you've got to root against him. But since he's often the underdog, like, the editor tries to make you like root for him as well. That's why I think George is such a great character overall. But with Faith, I think the editor did a great job sort of making you root against her, really.
Yeah.
And from all the stuff that I've kind of heard and seen on the shows, like she doesn't seem like she's the most nicest sort of person out there. But just entertainment, I agree. It's like she gave me something to root against, and I'd rather feel something whether it's for or against than not feel anything at all. So I'll probably put secondsies to All-Star. I'm indifferent. How about you? Useless?
I'm going to go, I don't agree with her milk choices, but she is definitely an all-star. She's, again, perfectly worded. You love to hate Faith. And I think when she goes, everyone's kind of cheering. But then you think, what would have happened if Faith made merge? Like, how different the game? And I think someone that pivotal is just, you want to have them back. Whether she'll come back or not, I think it will be more her choice. But it's like, she's got to be in that all-star tier.
Yeah.
I think she'll embrace that villain edit if she came back on.
Yeah, definitely.
I think she'd play even dirtier and be a lot blunter. If that's what the internet thinks of her, then let's embrace it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of playing dirty, we had the victim of the dirtiest move made in Survivor history, Dirty Harry. I actually don't know where to put this man, if I'm being perfectly honest, because I want to say golden because of his legacy, right? His legacy as a player. And I was so sad to see him get voted out. But then I'm like, do we need a Harry 4.0? I'd love to see a redemption of redemption for Harry, because obviously it was such a sad way to see him go out so early. But it's like second seeds to All Star was like I'm happy to see him come back and play again, even if it's on the next full return and play season. I would love that. But
Yeah.
it sounded like in his final words that it was the last time he was going to play. So yeah, how about you, Useless?
I'm happy to put him in the one night stand. I think he's done with Survivor, and it's hard because he had the big target on his back the way he played, but he chose to not embrace it when it's easier for Simon to hide that because he's not known for his strategy. But Mark came out and he played like he wanted to be the number one player, and we see where it gets him. But I think Harry had to do the same. And from talks that I've had with other people, it's like no one even wanted to talk to him. He was basically like a leper out there. But I don't think the way he went about it, like going with the people that were on the bottom and kind of like trying to blend in with them, was a good way for him to play the game. And it is a sour note that he goes out the way he did. But I think he, again, not trying to compare to Survivor 50, but I think he had to pay the Rick Devens game. I think he had to go around running after idols and all that sort of stuff. And it's hard because Lyndall found that idol and came to Brooke with it. Whereas imagine if Harry found the switching idol. So it's like it's hard because I think a lot of things had to go right for Harry, and I think anything that could have gone wrong did. And for that reason, I'm happy to put him just for this season as a one night stand. But if we want to do it as a legacy, he's clearly an all-star.
Yeah, I think that's a really good description. I think he played it way too safe this season for someone who's Dirty Harry. It was like mildly crumbs on him, like had a flaky pastry and got all over him. Harry. With that, I agree. It's just like from this season, I don't think I don't know. I think it's again that legacy when you are really attached to a player, you want to put him higher. Like when you said one night stand, I'm like, what? But when with your explanation, I get it. I don't think I'd put him there, but
Yeah.
it
is on
all-star.
where he wants what he wants this tier list to be. If it's just directly on this season, it's definitely in that bottom category. Yeah.
Well, Harry is the victim of one of my most favorite memes I've ever made of the season.
I'm off to buy imaginary groceries.
So much had to go wrong in just a series of a couple of days for him to get voted out.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to put a second.
He got out the way that he wanted to, like Jackson did, like a Uno reverse on him. It's an all-star level, he got played by his own game, really.
Yeah.
Kind of a passing of the torch moment, but
yeah. Passing of the flint.
Yeah, passing of the flint. Yeah, I would probably chuck him in secondsies is where I'm leaning. How do you guys feel about that?
Do it.
Just do it. All right, I'm doing it.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
I'm doing it, Nikki. All right, and speaking of passing of the flint, let's talk about Mad Dog Jackson. I think all-star.
Yeah.
Happy with all-star.
Right.
I think if he came back for another season, I think he could definitely be in golden.
100%.
I think he fell to the victim of not knowing what Survivor was. Like it's a very casual view of Survivor. And I think he played to the casuals, and that's why you see a lot of fans online say Jackson was robbed, all this sort of stuff. But again, his big decision to turn on Ben, it numbers wise, strategic wise, it didn't make any sense. And then he kind of even builds up Brooke when Brooke goes, the episode she goes, he might have convinced Keely to switch because he's like, yeah, Brooke's the best. Like, whoa. And then Keely's like, why would I want Brooke in the game? Like, it's so funny that the dominoes fell the way they did. Like, okay, we've got someone on our side now. I want to be the top dog in this alliance. Like, Brooke gets rid of Simon, Keely gets rid of Brooke. Then they've got the numbers to get rid of Keely because the numbers have changed. So Jackson, to me, wanted to play the big hype game without knowing that you've got to actually have relationships with the people that are going to be on the jury. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know what way to explain it, but he didn't play a Survivor game. He maybe played a
Yeah.
TV game. But he's definitely an all-star.
100%. And I think like the fact that when Blanche was like, "Can you tell me anything about me?" Jackson's like, no. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Are you the person they edited out of the challenges?
Exactly. It's like even the audience is like, "Blanche, we don't even know anything about you.
Yeah.
Why is this a big thing?" Moving on to Johnson, though. I personally feel quite bad for Johnson because I feel like he could just never get what even is my English? Never get any momentum under his legs, if that sort of makes sense. I feel like Kat, she really did blow things up. I mean, to be fair, he was probably going to get blindsided that round, but Mark was just so controlling and dominating that everyone on that tribe who wasn't Mark, Kelly, Faith, or Brooke was always going to get slammed pretty much.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing with Johnson is he is the casualty of having returning players. I feel like I didn't watch the Big Brother season that he was on, but that had returnees on, and he obviously lost to a person that had won previously to him, so that person became a 2-time winner. So it's like, I felt bad for him because maybe his redemption was to beat a returning player at the end. And we kind of see that he wanted to go against Mark, but he also wanted to work with Mark. And I could kind of see a season playing out where him and Mark get to the end. But yeah, I just think, Mark did a really good job of not letting a player like Johnson get into the game because, again, I never saw his Big Brother season, but apparently he was never even like put up for elimination or something. I can't remember what. It's something along the lines was like he was never voted out. But it's like he never even had the opportunity of being voted out. So I think you have to identify the people that are going to be threats to you later on. And I think Mark did that really well, got rid of Johnson. I'd happy for him to be a backup on a season. Like if someone pulled out and like, it sounds really bad, but he's like the Wish version of Ferris. He's what Ferris would have been if Ferris went early.
Timu Habib.
Yeah, Timu Habibi.
Timu Habibi.
Yeah. No,
he's in between Nash and Ferris actually. So it goes Nash, Johnson, Ferris.
He actually does give Nash kind of vibes. He's like the middle evolution.
Yeah. Using the Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to chuck him into secondsies.
Yeah.
Secondsies?
He has been hinting that he's going to be back on our screens. So I wonder if he's going to be doing traders or something. Because he's like, I'll be back. You'll be seeing more of me.
Could you imagine? Because that would be Big Brother, Survivor, and then traders.
He's like our Suri.
Yeah. Oh, no. Luke's done all three.
Playing. True, he has.
Luke done traders?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has.
Oh.
Good memory there, Mucky.
Yeah.
He didn't he didn't get very far.
I mean, I'm not Luke's number one fan for nothing. It's not like I've got 2 of his hats, 3 of his jumpers, 4 of his shirts. Oh, yeah.
Piece of his hair.
I'm that fan.
It's like that Christmas song, but it's like Mucky with Luke's 12 pieces of hair. 11 photos saved.
Well, if I ever get to do a podcast with Luke, I will probably just like end the channel just because I would have reached peak.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's over. It's done.
Yeah.
We'll never see you again.
Yeah. I just stopped watching Survivor reality TV, period. You know, just completely done.
Go live in the woods.
Yeah, exactly. You just see me in like the background of one of the Survivor episodes. I'm on some random Samoan like island, just doing my own thing.
Just like hiding.
Stop building me.
Well, let's talk about Keely here. Keely, massive standout for the newbies. While we definitely praise Brooke for the fake idol bluff, I think a lot of that was due to Keely's handcrafting skills, her strategy and whatnot. I've said many times throughout the season the edit is giving Mark the credit, but it's actually Keely making the moves. I think Keely was truly the mastermind behind the Baron tribe, behind the Bounty 2.0. She was running loops around Mark. She honestly was. She had so much control on that tribe. And there's even a great moment in the reunion as well. And Useless, I know I sent this to you, where Don is literally tipping his hat to Keely, being, you know, I'm glad that I was the first killer Keely blindside, and it literally cuts to Mark. And it's like, literally Mark got blindsided too. Like, piss off. Like, this isn't all about Mark. And yeah, I think Keely is probably the play of the season, in my opinion. So I'm happy to put it in golden.
Yeah, when I was thinking who I would rank kind of the number one of this season, the biggest standout had to be Keely. Out of all the newbies, I think she did better than Harry. Simon might be a challenge beast. She did better than Simon. She was a fantastic player.
I don't think she did better than Simon. She won 2 challenges. He won 4. Is that right, Useless?
I think you're going against challenge beasts, challenge part of it all. Her social game and strategy was very, very
I think
good.
Nikki's what she's saying is Keely was a better player than Simon overall.
I mean, but is that really hard to beat though? You know, it's Simon, all right. Like I love Simon to bits, but it's like saying that Leo Messi is a better football player than some 9-year-old you find at summer soccer camp. You know, it's like no kidding.
No, that's a good point. But to be considered in the returning alliance when it's your first ever season, that's such a good power move.
The best thing about Keely is I thought she was a fan. Like, the fact she was not a fan of Survivor going into it, that blew my mind. I was like, how can you have such a grasp on the game? Which, as I've said before, people have been watching this show for 25 years and still don't understand it. So this person that has come onto the show, I'm not sure how she was recruited, how she got on, but she takes it like this. And like, as we said, like, Mark's first big move, getting rid of Faith, Keely doesn't have a vote at that tribal. So it's like Keely had so much control. And then even when she's in a minority, she's compared to players that have played 2-3 times. Like, it's crazy that a player with such little knowledge coming in could have such a big influence. I think if she made that fake idol and they didn't have to put them next to each other, the fake idol looked more real than the real idol. So it's kind of like, if, like, obviously she wanted to keep that Brooke around, and sometimes having a fake idol is even worse because you can't actually play it and votes get split, whatever. But if she was able to keep that fake idol, if Brooke didn't go off and play it, like, I don't know why she did that, but if she just held it, I think they definitely could have been like, they could have replanted that fake idol and found it again, because they never really fully show it. But yes, I definitely think Keely is, if you're going to invite someone back, she's at the top of the list. It's like they made Heroes versus Villains because of George. If they were going to create a new returning season, Keely's the first person they're calling up.
100%. All right, we're going to chuck into golden. And now Lottie. I reckon Lottie's an all-star. I think if she lasted a bit longer, she could have entered the golden category. But I think huge character, huge player, ran the Bounty tribe pretty much to a T. And then when Usher gets blindsided, I do think there's a chance where maybe she could have, hanged around a bit after merge. But I think, Keely was right to take out Lottie straight away. So I reckon all-star. How about you guys?
I actually want to put her in the second tier, because, like, second Z season, because to me, what hurts Lottie's game is she wanted to be the top dog, but everything, like she threw a hissy fit when Simon goes against her. And I think she's kind of like the Wish version of Kirby. So how I was saying about Johnson being like the Ferris, I thought Kat was going to be the Kirby of the season when in reality it was Lottie that was. But it's like when things didn't go her way, she fell apart. And they kind of target her because they said, well, she's so dangerous that she will flip on us at first go. And that is because of the conversation she had with Simon in the pre-merge. So if after the Asha blindside, she regathers and goes back to Simon and said, look, I know you had to make a big move. Like, clearly there's something going on with your returning players. She could have got back into Simon's good books. And because she was like, it has to be Jackson. Jackson has to be the vote. Like, if she was like, Jackson has just gone to Simon. Like, why would Simon want to get rid of Jackson at that point? So if they were able to team up and get rid of someone else that was like a Caleb or someone that wasn't really a part of their game, I think that would have been much stronger for Lottie. And that's why, again, like, I think they would want her to come back. But again, it's does she deserve, like, she's not like a number one, she has to be on the next season kind of player like what we've had in higher tiers. So I think we can put it in All Stars because that second season is getting pretty full with some players.
Yeah.
I think as well, she did such a good job in pre-merge. Her game just fell apart post.
Yep. Yeah, it's like one vote ruined her whole game, but it's like she just didn't recover. And I think the best survivor players are players that can recover from bad situations. And I'll always say this, like, you can get swap screwed, but it's players that can get out of swap screws that will probably win. And again, Survivor 50, no, I'm coming back to it a lot, but Aubrey survives a vote she shouldn't survive. Now that she's gotten through, it's like a clear path to the end. Like, if Lottie could have got past, she was blindsided, but she wasn't taken out. Team back up with Simon, merge happens, you've got friends. There's a lot of options that can happen, but she isolated herself and it was an easy, well, Simon thinks, well, I can't work with this person anymore. She's got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All Star she goes. I think Lottie definitely had like the potential to be the player of the season if she lasted a bit longer as well. But
yeah.
But now we're here with Swindle Lindell. Definitely one of the biggest characters in the pre-merge of the season, despite being on the bottom and not having a lot of control or like flashy moves to her game. However, I reckon secondsies. I reckon. Like, I think if she was to ever come back on a return play season, I'd be like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it would be. You go, Nikki.
I was gonna be controversial, put her in one night stand. I feel like she was a good player and she was good to watch, but I feel like we have players like her every single season where there was nothing, where she was a little bit ditzy, which I always love, a little bit of ditziness, but I don't know. I feel like she could do better on a second season now that she's learnt her lessons, but I don't know.
How about you, Useless?
Strongly disagree. One night stand with Swindle Lindell? No way. No. I think she's had, in Australian Survivor, the most jam-packed first 16 days. Because remember, Australian Survivor's a big haul. It goes for a month and a half, 2 months, some seasons. So in 2 weeks, she was able to find an idol, switch an idol, gain a proper idol that she can use. She was able to win an individual immunity challenge that was a game saver for her at the time. Yes, she wasn't all there socially, and the edit early on was very confusing because they were talking about this huge 8-person alliance that she wasn't in yet. Someone in the 8-person alliance, like, that just was smoke and mirrors. That was never happening. That was just so, like, I think it made her seem like a less like it made her gameplay look a little bit worse. And I did think she took initiative with the Eliza vote, where you can go, oh, she just voted her out because she was tired, whatever. But I think if Mucky comes up to me and goes, hey, we're both on the bottom, I'm gonna try and make him the bigger target. It's like I think people said, oh, what if they teamed up? What, so it's Eliza, Lyndall, it's like 4
Loz.
people out of 10.
Yeah.
Like it's just too much to flip. And it's one of those things where it's like, oh, we'll get out Eliza this time. And then it's like, well, she wins individual immunity. I mean, you don't know what's gonna happen. But you don't know when tribe swaps are gonna happen. You don't know if your team's gonna go on an immunity run. And it's in those early days, the more you're in the game, the more options you have. So I think getting rid of Eliza, who people weren't going to be disgruntled. Obviously, Jackson was the only one disgruntled in that whole situation. And then that actually, the target was off Lyndall because Paula was seen to be running that boat. So it's, things change every day. And I think Lyndall is the classic, like, if there's pre-merge versus post-merge, she has to be on it.
100%.
The most jam-packed 16 days, first 16 days.
Yeah,
That
well,
I think a person has ever had.
I do think she was waiting for a tribe swap, but then once she saw the tribe she was on, I think she's like, actually, I think I would have rather tried to fight for another
Well, that's the funny thing as well, because
Please.
it's one of those ones where it seems bad, but it probably wouldn't have been as bad as if they didn't go to so many tribal councils. Like
Yeah.
I know Don goes, but imagine if she was able to win they were able to win a couple more challenges. Then Tez goes, and then it's like, well, she's in with the girls. Maybe they get rid of Kayla. Like, again, it's one of those ones, or maybe they get rid of Rich now. It's one of those things where the longer she was in the game, I felt like it was going to help her game. Whereas a lot of people are the opposite, where the longer they're in the game, they go down. And that's someone like Cameron, a Lottie, and all those players, that the longer they were in the game, their gameplay actually got worse. I think Lyndall's would have gotten better as it goes on. So that's why it is good that you get out your Johnsons and your Lindals and that before they get too much momentum.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I'm going to say All-Star again to level out. I'm being tactical. Yeah.
I feel like
I
we have
personally
very
think
different
second
views, Useless.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm pushing more lean to a second season than All Stars. Just because,
I'm
like,
fine with that.
You're fine with that?
Yeah.
Are we all okay with second seas?
Lock it in.
Locking a baby. And now we've got
Lock it in,
Loz.
Mucky.
Loz. My fellow Kiwi. All right. Like, we go way back, Alfano, a mountain, a river. No, jokes. We're from completely different parts of New Zealand. But, anyways, special connection with Loz, right? But, it's a thing where, like, yes, I know we've had some debates about Loz and stuff like that already, so I'm happy to have them out on here. But, like, yes, the newbies were playing, but I feel like Loz, her big thing always was, hey, I want to get the numbers to take down Caleb. And it never worked out. She was offered many opportunities to flip, but she always said no. And then the one opportunity where she could have taken them out, she sent him to fire instead. And, she's asking Caleb, oh, can you please, like, drop out the challenge so I can actually have something on my resume? Like, when you're literally begging people to lose a challenge so you can have something against your name, like, I think it's just, like, it kind of shows that even she kind of knows she didn't play a great game, Like, she's a massive fan of the show, and I do feel really bad for her, but I'm kind of in the one night stand with Loz personally. How about you guys?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you go, Nikki, because I think I'm going to have a rant here. So,
Yeah,
Nikki?
I think it goes with, like, yeah, she didn't have a flashy game. Like, I know when she was in, like, the final 3, people were like, oh my God, like, Loz has done nothing. But it's like, she didn't really outwit, but she outplayed and she outlasted. And I think that's such a huge feat, just to be able to do that. So whenever someone gets discredited for being in that final 3 or final 2, it's just like they still were out there for that long and managed to get there. Going in, what you were saying, she was respected by the peers. That's why she kind of stayed, I guess. She had, like, a pretty decent social game. Do I want to see her again, though, is the question. And I don't think she did anything this season that made me go, wow, I'd love to see her have another go at this. So I agree. I think one night stand.
And just before you go useless, because I know you're going huge rant incoming and you're about to explode. I think with Loz, any final two combination from the merge onwards, the only person she might win against is Blanche.
Yeah.
I think everyone else has at least got something to their name to take the win over her personally. And that's just kind of how I feel about Loz. Like, once again, I feel terrible for saying it. Fellow Kiwi, fellow New Zealander, like country pride. I actually got her for the draft. I don't think she got me that many points though, but useless.
She's there.
It's on you.
Here he goes.
Loz is the key to this whole.
Oh, never mind. He's gone, so we won't have to listen to.
He was like,
yeah. Just kick him out. No, I kicked you off. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Right, continue.
I was about to say I'm under Nikki now, but no. What about those 10 things that made Don Rogers' hat? Anyway, resume the video. Loz was the key to this whole season. She is the vegetables to the steak. Caleb is the steak. She's the vegetables. Jackson is the dessert. You don't want her, but without Loz, this season doesn't happen. Every decision she made is what ran the season. She chooses to go with the Beauty and the Beast, and guess what? That changes the whole game with the Asha vote. Anytime someone like a Cameron or a Caleb wanted to go against the newbie alliance, they said, I'll go if Loz goes. That was a big thing about Mark. Mark should have taken Simon's offer to take out Loz instead of Rich. That's when that was like before the jury was made. And I think if Mark made that decision to take out Loz, it would have actually fractured that. So Loz was holding together this whole alliance, which was this season. And I think a lot of people will be like, she did nothing. She did blah, 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 all this stuff. She didn't build a resume. She played like a Tina Wesson game, which won the Australian Outback. Again, it is hard because it's not 2001 anymore, but it's just great Survivor. And I get where Mucky's coming from. Like, it's a bad look. She did it a couple of times. She begged Simon for immunity. She begged Caleb for immunity at the end. She wasn't happy when Cameron didn't take her on a reward. Like, there are things as a viewer you hate to see, because if you win something, you have earned it. But when you start begging and, like, yeah, you've got the necklace, but did you earn it? It becomes those kind of red flags. A lot of that happened in Champions vs Contenders 2, where we saw, I'll give you immunity if you take. Like, it does, tamper with your win a little bit. But Loz is the definition of a great Survivor player, but not great for TV. And I thought, like, I rarely ever like shed a tear when there's like the family visits or letters or whatever. But when her kids were like, "Oh, you can do it, Mum," in their little New Zealand accents, I was like, "Oh no,
You can do it, Mum."
Oh no, I've got to, like, when she doesn't win, I'm gonna die." Like I literally felt like Caleb. I was like, I have to vote out Loz now. Like, she can't go to the end. Like, there's no way I can tear this poor woman apart at Final Tribal Council, which she have to do. And I was like, no. So to me, Loz is golden. She's a national treasure. She's the best New Zealander to play Australian Survivor. And,
I mean, technically, yes. Like, the pool is very, very small.
Statistically
correct. She didn't try to quit. She didn't blow up her own game. See, a lot of things you credit Loz, I should credit to Sally, because I think there's a lot of times when when Simon and Brooke are trying to sow seeds of doubt, and Sally's the one to really be like, no, this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to make us all paranoid. And I think Sally did a great job keeping newbies together to Yeah.
I
To
think
take
Sally
out
had
also the
no
attorneys.
social capital that whole game. I think like she was always a number and she was never that's like
See,
for when we
I
get
feel
to her.
I feel like she had more
the
social
edit could have shown that, but for me, it was always everyone would check in on Loz before making a move. And every time Loz said no, no move was done. Every time Loz said yes, a move was done.
The one move of Usher, though.
Yeah, she did that.
I see your pitch.
Like,
and I see where you're coming from.
This is the thing is, if she doesn't make it far, yeah, she looks like, oh, what if? But she does make it far. So there are no what ifs for her because every path she took got her towards the end. And yes, at the very last moment, what could have cost her is she didn't drop or she begged Caleb for it. That's probably what's cost her because Caleb got the seeds of doubt late. But it's like, to me, it's not, oh, should I keep this person? Should I take, like, I think the whole voting out Caleb thing, I never think she wanted to vote out Caleb ever, except for maybe at the final three. Like, they were all like, oh, let's do a girls' alliance. Like, that was all smoke and mirrors that I don't think Keely ever believed.
Well, no, because she even talked about it with Kevin, though, at one point, I think.
And, like, I think this is another thing that people forget. The Minority Alliance, when they voted for Loz, because if it went to Rocks, they didn't want Loz to be a casualty because they thought they could work with her. So she was the one that was probably stopping other people from working with the returnees, but the returnees wanted to work with her as well. I just think it's one of those ones where it's like Elle's game in 2016. It's like that edit where you finish third, you get a low edit, you don't play flashy game, and so people think you're not playing. And it's like, that's why
Because I always felt like with Al, like at least from my perspective, like from a casual perspective, yeah, you might be like, oh, she's not playing. But like from obviously our perspective, we'll make content for the show. We'll look at the show very closely. I could always tell that Al was playing the game really well and she was playing hard, right? With Loz, I personally don't see that. I really don't. And I think the reason why they voted for Loz for the rock draw is simply because in an event of a rock draw, you would hope to knock out another power player.
Yeah, bigger threat.
Yeah.
I think you're like, I love the pitch, but I think it's just glorifying the goat you take to the final. I feel like a lot of what she did, you could use that explanation for others, and that goes with, would I want to see her again on the screen? It's a little bit like Lyndall. I've seen contestants and players like her before. I don't feel the need for her to come back. I think she showed what she could do.
Yeah, I definitely do get what you mean, though, Useless, in terms of people would always check in with Loz before potentially siding with the returnees, except for Jackson, right? And
which is, I think, one of the worst moves statistically.
Yeah, but I think that Loz and Sally, I think both of them played quite similar games, but I kind of credit maybe a little bit more towards Sally than Loz.
I think that's where we're on completely different levels, because I think no one cared what Sally thought. They never did anything Sally wanted to do. Sally was a number, whereas Loz was an influencer.
Nikki,
live, laugh, love. On to the next one.
Yeah. Well, where are we putting Loz? One night stand.
One night stand for me. Yeah, I don't think I need to see her again.
You can put her in the one night stand. It's your list, Mucky.
All right, so Useless wants Loz on one night stand. Okay, after he made this whole pitch, he's just like, nah, he's
given up. I've given up.
He's given up. Well, here comes probably one of the more controversial players we're going to be talking about, because I think we all might have different perspectives on where to put him. I mentioned earlier on the podcast, and I will always stand by this, Mark was never the strategist, it was Keely. I think Keely was truly the brains behind many of the operations that was going on in terms of the Baron tribe and the Bounty 2.0, but I think the show always gave Mark credit. He did a great job, I guess, taking out like Cat, which I actually did think was originally a bad move, because between Cat and Johnson, you would see Cat coming through, but not Johnson. But still managed to get out Johnson, so I guess there's a tick for Mark. Taking out Faith, I think obviously hindsight's 2020. He really needed Faith in the merge. Like I do understand where he might be coming from, where she's admitting that, she doesn't want to, side with them. What's it called? Like, go to end with them. But it's like, yeah, but you got so much time even before the very end. You can probably take out Faith another time, right? But I do think that there was a terrible move for Mark. Great for TV, but terrible for Mark's game. Idling Rich out. Rich is someone who you've worked with in the past, is a good, clear option for you and has many other connections to some of the newbies. But because he's just like, nah, Rich went against me, I'm done with him. I think that actually costed Mark's game a lot more than what he actually realized as well. I do think that he was trying to be the Australian version of Russell, and he was trying to become the next George, pretty much. He was playing a TV game, not a Survivor game. If that sort of makes sense. But in the grand scheme of things, similar to Faith, he was a great character to root against. But, I look at players like George, right? So my grandparents, like, they hate George, right? They really do. But they still respect him because of the game he plays, right? Because what's so great about George, he's a villain, but whenever he does something, it's like, oh, that was pretty clever by George, but like, oh, but I don't like he did that, Something can be said about David as well. He's obviously a villain of the show, but he's a clever villain. Mark, I feel like, was just a confessional villain without much of the strategy, because Keely had the strategy. And ironically, Keely's game was quite successful after Mark left as well. So for me, I'm debating between Secondsies and One Night Stand, because I don't think I need to see Mark again personally. But like, if he showed up again, it's like, I understand he's a big character now. But yeah, how about you guys? What's your thoughts and feelings?
I was going to go All-Star, but you did a really good pitch to kind of sway me to be like, hang on, I think you are right that the game he played wasn't as great when you actually look at it. Like, it was very flashy. He's like a cartoon villain.
Yeah,
and
pretty much
is the best way to describe it. And he definitely had a hold of the game. But again, it was Keely and Faith doing a lot of the whispering, and he was their like protection almost. So they were kind of getting away with things, and he would do anything to keep his girls around, essentially.
A comparison I can think of is he's the Philip Shepherd to Cochrane and Dawn in Caramine.
Yeah. Like he's there.
Yeah.
So with that, I think I'm dropping him down to Secondsies. I don't think he's a one-night stand. Like, I think I'd like to see him again in like a Heroes vs Villains season, of him as one of the main villains. But yeah, I think Secondsies.
And Useless?
He's a one-night stand. He learnt nothing from his first season, made the exact same mistakes that he made.
Well, that's what I don't get, because I do feel like the first time he played, I mean, even just coming into the season, right? Like, because just before we did all this, Nikki, I did a season rankings of Australian Survivor. I think same time as you, Useless, and I rewatched all the seasons, and rewatching Mark's game, it was so interesting to see that, like, actually Eden helped Mark so much throughout the game, right? Like, he's not... Mark is fourth in the middle-aged mafia. They see him coming from a mile away with the V, so they take a shot at the Vs. He tries to get back at the middle-aged mafia, but they obviously, squash him straight away. He has a chance at the merge, but then because of Scott quitting and Ferris being a big game player, they flip that around. Mark's best move that I thought before we watched Titans vs Rebels was bringing the Titans back together almost to save Eden at the almost rock draw vote. However, it still didn't work out. And then from that point onward, Mark was always on the bottom. So it's almost like Eden was actually keeping him alive pretty much in the game. And I think even in this season, Keely and Faith were running the strategy. Similar with Caroline and Eden, they were running the strategy. Marks definitely was a big character. I think his journey in Times of Rebels was definitely very rootable, very fun, because he's obviously quite a strategic player. But I don't know. I think Keely just ran loops around him.
That's my biggest frustration with Mark's game. Is this season is redemption, and he gets a huge montage about the ghosts of his past and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, he makes the same mistakes. Oh, he's got a side alliance with Don, but his main alliance take out his side alliance because they want Mark for himself. But what does he do? Oh, he gets out Faith, which hurts his own game. But then he keeps around Caleb, who is the one that's really going to get him, and everyone tells him. And it's even the fact that he's on the jury pitching how great Caleb is after Caleb has completely played him.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. Anyways, now on to Paula. Paula and Purple, they both start with the exact same letter, because that's exactly what Paula was. But everything I've heard outside of the game, she seems like she was actually a pretty good, pretty decent player, but they just never showed it.
Yeah.
Because she was always next to Harry. And so I'm like,
see more of her.
So I'm feeling secondsies just because what did we not get to see? Because every single person I've chatted to on this cast has said nothing but great, bloody phenomenal things. Even Ash said in the deep dive where it's like they had to get out Paula, not Harry, Paula first. Yeah. And that was the big one. So
she falls into the victim of I think it was the first Redemption Island where the people that teamed up with Russell were the ones that were targeted because obviously Russell has idols. Or that she was like, Paula said that no one would even talk to Harry. No one. And it was the people there was maybe 2 or 3 people. They didn't know that Simon and Harry were having those conversations. So it was basically Paula and Lyndall were the only ones talking with Harry. And that's actually what made them outsiders when people were talking about, oh, Lyndall's got a bad social. It's just because she wasn't afraid of Harry. She wasn't afraid to be there. And Paula was the same. Paula is the classic, she's just collateral damage because there's a few returnees. And usually a player of her age, and I don't think she would have been terrible in challenges. Usually they're not the ones that are targeted early on, but she was easily made a target because, well, she's Harry's too, even though Harry was probably the least aggressive out of the pair. It was more like she was the dominant one in that pair. So to be more dominant than Harry in a duo, I think that says a lot about her. Will she ever play again? I don't think so. But again, if she was a reserve for a returning season, I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, I would like to see her again. I think you put it really well. And just to be able to go up to a returnee and start working with them so well as well, they were so close very, very quickly. Definitely would like to see Paula get another chance.
100%. So secondsies for Paula. And now Rich, Cashflow Rich. One of the most wealthiest people to ever play Australian Survivor. That's why they nicknamed him Cashflow. And I personally think All-Star. Now, from what I remember, he got the exact same amount of confessionals as Kat. However, it was targeted straight away for the very first vote, and he survived. Heavily integrated himself to the point where Harry thinks he's a big threat to watch out for. Goes into a tribe swap, 7-2 minority. Nikki, one of my favorite episodes ever is when David and Luke get swapped 7-2 minority. Both of them have idols. And I'm pretty sure there was either 1 or 2 days are able to flip the whole tribe on its head without playing a single idol. I think that's just masterclass gameplay. And Rich, he didn't even need an idol to stay in the tribe swap. He loses Lyndall. Him and Tez were pretty screwed. Simon, people throwing challenges to save Rich. Simon gives up individual immunity to save Rich. And even in a vote where the 3 people with any votes gets into exile, he didn't receive 1 vote.
It was insane the way
number 1 on the bottom.
He survived. Yeah, he became one of my winner picks. towards like that middle of the season, because the way that he could just survive after being in a minority, not get those votes on him, and also have the returnees trying to back him and like using him as a protection piece, like a bargaining piece to protect him. I thought that was a wild. I felt like I missed something. I was like, what's about Rich? Like, did they promise you like $1 million if you saved him? Because that's what it was giving. But yeah, I think he's all-star status. I'd love to see him get another go at this too.
And Useless?
Yeah, Rich is an all-star to me. The fact he went to tribal council 9 times in the pre-merge, knowing that there was hardly any of those non-elimination twists that we usually get. So he was under fire constantly. Would compare his pre-merge game to the likes of a Phoebe in 2016, minus the idols. But it's like he was always up against it, losing so many challenges. Again, he did a very similar thing that Loz did, where he's pleading, please give me immunity. And you've got Faith is going, you can't give him immunity because we need him as a backup vote. And then he ends up, Simon, giving him the immunity, and, you know, Tez is the collateral in that vote. But it's like, for me, Rich gets taken out in, again, I think there's been a lot of moves in this season that were emotional moves. He gets taken out in an emotional, like, kind of Mark taking him out, to me, that is like the 8th grader pushing over a person in the 2nd grade. I'm the one that wears the suit on Survivor. And it's like, well,
it was literally
who
Russell
are you?
blindsiding Dan. From what I've heard as well, which once again kind of goes to show what kind of player Mark is. So he gave Simon back the fake idol to let everyone know that, like, yeah, there's like a fake idol to weaken Simon's game. And part of the reason why he wanted to target Rich was to weaken Simon. But it's like, Simon's one of your allies trying to help you. You would want to keep Rich around. And so he screws over not only just his game, but Simon's game as well. And even Rich said when he came on, him and Tess, for our finale recap, that he felt like Mark wanted him to feel uncomfortable when getting voted
he
out.
belittles people. It's like going outside of the game. So I think Rich has handled himself very obviously. He's, you know, outside of the game of Survivor. He's got nothing to prove, but I think he handled himself really well. I think he's, well, we've talked about wish versions, whatever. He's what I think Kent wanted to be in Brains vs. Brawn 2. Rich was that person this season, where it's like, yeah, you can have all the money in the world, but that doesn't help you in the game of Survivor. But Rich did really well.
Yeah.
And I think, again, yeah, if we want to see another Blazer on Survivor, I think it is from Rich.
100%. Well, let's move on to Sally. Queen Sally. Forgot. I could just golden. Straight up, just golden. No, useless. Useless. We've already had this. We've already had this happen. But you and Michelle wanted to put her in first boot, but no, there was no way
Michelle
was
did.
First boot.
I think I wanted to put Keely in first boot. Yikes.
That's right. I think we did put Keely in first boot. But yeah, but Sally, no, she was so good this season. Honestly, she was so good. The fact that Keely and Faith were more loyal to her than Mark really does show a lot. You know, the wise woman alliances. You know, Sally's name is getting thrown around. What do? We've got to save Sally, this blindside Don, right? Key social game right there. Throughout the whole merge, you know, similar argument to Loz Useless, where a lot of returning players have been like, hey, so Caleb's trying to take credit for your move, Mr. Ben, you know, like, I just feel a little bit upset about that. Hey, Caleb, Ben saying that you shouldn't take any credit for the Mark move. Like, that's kind of annoying, right? And Sally's the one literally calming them down, be like, no, do not listen to this shit. Sally, she's holding the group down together, and I feel so bad because her game, similar to Loz, isn't one that you can really show because it is a strong social game of keeping the group together. To the point where, like, yeah, they were all going to go to rocks for each other because they knew, A, the stakes of needing to actually get these returning players out, but also because, you know, that 4 were supposed to go all the way to the end together. And I think she did stuff up the half idol, but I think apart from that, it was a pretty well-rounded game. So I'm happy to put it in golden.
I don't. I'm just so confused. I'm so confused because the reasons you've kind of put Loz in the one night stand is because you don't want to see her again. But like Sally is the classic. Like I don't think she knows. Like she has no control in the game. Like her social connections did not help her strategy. Loz's social connections, she had the choice to make moves. Sally did not have a choice. She had to go with the numbers. And anytime she tries to make a move, she doesn't. She's like the split vote a few times really early on in she's like she doesn't know the real plans, and even like the tribe swap helps her because she's like in the numbers, but again she's just Faith and Keely's pawn at that stage. And then even in the late game, like she can't even convince them to vote out Caleb. You talk about Loz never being able to get out Caleb, but I don't think Loz ever wanted Caleb out. When Sally actually wants Caleb out, she can't get that over the line. Then obviously she loses in the fire making challenge, which I don't have anything against her, obviously, if Caleb's won that in record time. But everything you've kind of gone against, I think she's the Wish version of Loz.
And see, I think Loz is the Timu version of Sally.
As the middle person right now, I feel like Sally did a little bit more than Loz, but I feel like they're almost like different sides of the same coin. I think they played kind of similar games. I think for Sally, it was a lot of we're going to do this, and then just no action was really taken. But out of her and Loz, I think I preferred Sally more. But then again, if they play quite similar games, that's why I think they're in the final two together. It would have been a very close vote. So don't know if where I'd put her. Mine would be in between One Night Stand and Secondsies. I just don't think I would want to see her again. Again, it's another type of player. Yeah, it's that kind of player that we do see a lot in Survivor, and yeah, it's not a standout for me.
So are we all agreeing on All-Star then?
I will come up to second, but that's as far as it goes.
Yeah, I wouldn't put her.
Secondsies?
If I feel like I was being too harsh to like Usher and stuff if we didn't put her into All Stars and we put Sally in there. So.
Oh, right. Fine. I guess we'll put Sally in Secondsies. and now Simon. Big Dog Simon came in as the most hapless player to ever play Australian Survivor. Every single time he tried making a move, it just never worked out. And he came on the season. He thought his redemption was just playing an idol correctly, but it's actually so much more than that. He made one of the biggest moves in the pre-merge, blindsided someone while they're throwing a challenge with an idol in their pocket. Simon made many great moves, convincing Jackson to flip on his number one ally, which I agree with you, Useless, was a terrible move to make. And yeah, what a legend. Simon, one of the biggest underdogs, I think, in Survivor history, period. I reckon he's golden. And you guys?
I think golden as well.
Yeah.
This is his best season.
It's one of those ones with Simon as well. Like when I was doing all my leaderboards and stuff, like I have a Hall of Fame. It's a very small Hall of Fame. And Simon was the only one popping up on all these leaderboards that wasn't in the Hall of Fame. So I had to put him in as an icon because, yes, he's great in challenges, but he, like this season, when we talk about heroes versus villains, is made for George. Redemption is a season made for Simon, and he did redeem himself. He upgraded his game. I think he actually is, like, as much as I love Brooke, I think Brooke didn't really upgrade her game. Her game was very similar to her All-Stars game.
Yeah.
Mark played, I think, the exact same game. Harry obviously played, unfortunately, he couldn't get into the game. So Simon was the only one that actually, I think, could redeem himself or see himself as redeemed. I know every individual person will have their own redemption story and if they got it or not. But from an outsider looking in, Simon actually did. He didn't lose his strength in challenges. Sometimes that happens. Like they'll dominate a season, not another season. So he stayed with his dominance in the individual challenges. He played much better socially. He played much better strategically. And even though him saving Mark kind of put him in a worse position, him being able to win immunities got him further along in the game. And if it's not for Brooke not going for rocks, remember Brooke is safe. If she goes to the rocks, Brooke is safe and Simon's safe. That whole move about taking a rock from Jackson, that doesn't come across because apparently it's not in the rules. Like I'm not sure. Like you never know on Australian Survivor, they might have been like, yeah, Simon can take a rock.
I think we've even seen it before when Kez handed her idol to Flick and Brancis were on one. I think the rules has always been if it makes for great TV, it will probably be allowed.
Because Simon said when he got voted out with his two artists, he could have given them, but he didn't because they didn't want them. That's what he said. I'm not sure how true that is.
I remember in one interview he said that apparently Baden asked, "It's like, oh, can I have one of your idols?" And it was just like, "No, I'm not giving you my idols." But yeah,
Simon.
yeah,
Simon, can I have your idol?
Simon,
please.
Can I have
yeah,
your
and
idol?
I think like not just in the game, but just as a person in general. Like I don't know, Nikki, how much interaction you've had with Simon, but with me, he's always been really loving and just really supportive and really just amazing. You know, like he treats every single fan
he's a good guy.
really, really well. Yeah, he's just
he's almost
all
like,
around great guy.
He's very just Australian. You know, he's a tradie. He's a good bloke. Like I feel like if you showed him to an American or something like this is what an Australian is, I think Simon's a good example.
Yeah. Even with his little cringe moments, he's
But that's what makes him so great, though. That's what makes him so
he's so
great.
Authentically him.
Yeah. Even in this season, like I completely forgot until I rewatched it, but him and Cameron win a reward challenge and someone goes to give him a high five and Cameron isn't even looking. So he just high fives himself.
That's so funny.
It's so great. Yeah, and I think obviously there was a rumor going around that Australia versus the World 2 was going to be a season that was happening, but unfortunately got axed. I really hope Simon was on it or was at least in the casting process for it because I think before in like the top 12 or top 10 men, Simon's definitely up there, but I think now he is probably like near the number one spot for should come out to represent Australia, you know, because we've already had David Luke George, which are always going to be the top three, but Simon's probably number 4.
Yeah, like from an icon point of view, yes, definitely.
Yeah,
icon character. He's now proven to be at least a pretty decent player as well. So not even decent, a good player. So
Nikki was saying is George is like that little head on Mount Rushmore. I feel like Simon is he's the dude that's like standing on top of Mount Rushmore in his budgie smugglers taking the photo.
he's there.
Yeah. And last but not least, one of the greatest pre-merge flops we've ever seen in Survivor history, I would say. Played such a shit game. We did a 2.5-hour deep dive of him trying to convince me why his game was actually brilliant, but it really wasn't. It was just terrible all the way through and through. I'm putting this man one night stand. And you guys?
One night stand.
I want to see him try again. I just want to see him try. I want him to have a better go. Like I feel like I can relate to Tez. I feel like I would be very similar in the situations in the tribal where he just couldn't talk. I'm like, yeah, same. That's 100% something I would do.
So you're admitting you'll be a terrible player?
Yeah.
Yeah. Join the club,
No.
Nikki. We'd all be terrible players.
We're the Pokemon evolution. I'm like just above Tez.
So Tez
No,
turns
I'd like
into
to see
you.
him
Who do
try
you?
again.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to insult anyone.
the thing about Tez is, I think he was aware that he played a bad game, but then the conversations I've had with him, it's like he was given a bad hand. Like he's like, I was trying to make moves, I was trying to get out marked, and it's like, yeah, but it's like going all in with 7-2. It's like impossible to win, but it's like just fold. Like he could have worked with the girls to get out Caleb. He could have done so many other things, and I know it's hard. Like he said, he had a connection with Brooke, but Brooke's not on your tribe at the swap. So it's like, to me,
The girls
he was
never made it easy for him. They would literally pull people away from him and interrupt, like I just did, their conversation. So I think he just
a
got
lot faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
do think similar with Rich and Lyndall. I think Tiz was dealt a really bad hand at the swap. You know, he was given the Cornchip Hardtail and the office people. I don't know. What's the bloody alliance name? There's too many alliance names. Yeah, but
I want to see Tez again, even if he gets booted first up. Let's just put him back out there. He wears running shorts.
I agree. And my third favorite meme of the season actually involves Tiz, and it's this one here. Wait, I clicked the wrong one. It's this one.
Let's see what fascinating pubescent treasures Chris has got hidden away. Ooh, Hustler magazine. I finally get to see what a vagina looks. Oh God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
It's Tiz in a nutshell.
So many layers to that.
Exactly. No, but as a friend, I put him in All-Star, but I think as a play-in TV character, probably secondsies.
I think I'm being the only humane one here. We're saying Tez never go on TV again. I'm saving Tez. I'm the one saving Tez here.
Well, I do wonder what happens if he ends up on the other tribe with Usher, Lottie, Blanche. Like he for sure makes merge.
I think it's the opposite. The Beauty and the Beast never happens if because Blanche switches straight away. She's not with the Barons at all. So
and
like if Tez, just say Tez is on the Baron tribe and it's Ben that's on the new bounty. Yeah, I can see Brooke's in a lot of trouble. Who else is in that? Like Jackson's
in a wee bit of trouble, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like they just win lots of challenges, but it's Yeah.
Now, so shall we chuck Tiz into secondsies?
He'll squeeze in.
Does he fit?
I don't know. He is really skinny in real life, so he should be able to fit. Oh,
let's go, Tez.
There you go.
There we go. Look at that.
There we go. Look at him.
I think we need to do a little bit of rewiring here, but
look, we're 2.25 hours in. Useless. I'm not rewiring anything.
We're doing it again. This was the draft.
Exactly. This is the draft. Oh wait, I didn't even tap start record, so we are going to have to do it all again.
No sleep.
In Golden, we've got Brooke, Caleb, Keely, and Simon. For All-Star, we've got the host, David, Eliza, Faith, Jackson, Lottie, and Rich. For Cheeky Secondsies, we have Usher, Ben, Blanche, Kat, Cameron, Harry, Johnson, Lyndall, Paula, Sally, and Tez. And for One Night Stands, Daniel, Don, Loz, because Useless put her there, and Mark.
We almost have a full tribe on the secondsies there.
Pretty much, yeah.
A lot of backups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that list.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked too. How about you, Useless? You pretty stoked, man?
Look, it's not how I would do it, but this is Mucky Hope Productions, not Useless Australian Survivor Facts. So happy
Yes.
with
Start
your
your own
decision.
podcast, Useless.
I would rather be in an alliance with Mark.
My God.
Whoa.
Actually, Nikki, the first ever time Useless came on a podcast, right?
Mm.
He just straight up just insulted me and insulted all the podcasters, being like, "Look, I get what you're trying to do. It's cool and whatnot, but leave it for the big leagues, leave it for the big dogs." You know, he was anti-podcasts, anti-everything. And now we constantly chat about, oh yeah, would you be keen on doing a podcast about this? Or
He's like, please,
so,
more podcasts,
exactly.
please.
He's craving to come on. He's craving to come on to give me more subscribers.
I need I need your little snippets from my rant so we can make more memes about me.
Exactly. That is probably the best meme to come off the season,
It's
and it
so
happened
good.
straight after the first episode. It's
So good. You were so convinced. Makes
Nikki,
me giggle
so
every time.
Nikki, are you a fan of the OC? Actually, I'm not sure how old you are. You might be a bit too young for the OC.
I'm 28. I've watched the OC. I've seen like the first 2 seasons,
Yeah.
first 2.5.
So I did put the image in heat, what you say, behind Daniel getting voted out. Like, you know, when they're like getting, like when Marissa shoots.
Yeah.
What you say?
Classic.
That's how I felt. That's how I felt.
First day. Yeah, it sucks. That's so
truly
funny.
heartbreaking. But I just want to say thank you both so much for coming onto the podcast. It's been such a genuine blast getting to chat with both of you, and especially you, Useless. We're actually planning on doing this quite a while ago, but unfortunately I've been like really under the pump with work and doing deep dives and stuff. So thank you for still being keen after all the delays.
No worries, Mucky. Despite not being a fan of podcasts, I do love yapping for hours that, you know, I have to get edited out of half of it, but I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, and same with you, Nikki. You know, this is our first ever podcast together, and I'm so grateful.
Thank you
that you came on.
Debut. How was it?
Yeah. Woohoo! I had so much fun. Thank you for having me. Thank you for thinking of me. Little old TikToker over here.
Little TikToker has more followers than both of us combined.
Well, the very first time Useless came on the podcast, his phone ran out of charge and ended up like lagging out all the podcast.
Oh my god!
So this was a way better run. Yeah, but Nikki, where can people find you?
So I am on TikTok. I'm zen.n.n. It's very confusing. zen.en. Wait, .n.en. Originally, I was meant to be a TikTok for me, my cat Zen. So that's why that's there.
Fair enough. And I'll make sure to link your TikTok in the description of the stream below. But how about you, Useless? Where can people find you? It's probably on some useless website.
On Tinder, Hinge, Married at First Sight. But if you want to see my Survivor content, Useless Australian Survivor Facts on Instagram and TikTok. No longer on Facebook. Banned on Facebook. For impersonating Survivor, apparently. But.
Yeah, well, some exciting news to share as well. I've just made a Twitter account. Mucky Hope is finally going on Twitter. I know. It's because
an
X account. Elon Musk. You know, we've just we're finally on X, and I will be starting up a TikTok pretty soon as well. I'll make sure to link all of those in the description of the video as well. So make sure
One of us.
It'll probably just be me, just like, because I only use my personal TikTok for just rewatching like Family Guy. That's pretty much all
I was gonna say
TikTok
for
the
TikToks that I send you.
Yeah, and it's just mostly Family Guy. But yeah, so you'll be able to find me on TikTok, on X, on Instagram at Mucky Hope Productions. And of course, make sure you like and subscribe for Cheeky Naughty Times. We're all about cheeky naughty times here, Nikki. What is something cheeky and or naughty that you've been up to?
Oh, that I've been up to. Oh, I didn't realize there's a little part. Oh my gosh. Just chilling. Maybe too much chilling. Just chilling.
Just
You
chilling.
got me on the spot there.
Yeah. Well, chilling is pretty naughty.
It is pretty naughty. Sleeping a
why aren't
lot.
you working? Why aren't you contributing to society? You're just too busy sleeping.
She's been
Busy
doing
sleeping.
some mucky hopes and chills, apparently.
Yeah, just chilling. Just
Hey,
watching
do you
your
want
deep
to watch a
dives on
2.5
repeat.
hour podcast?
Yeah, I actually
Come over
watched
and
them
chill.
too fall asleep.
What are we going to do with the other 2 hours and 28 minutes?
Well, Useless, what have you been up to? You're normally a pretty cheeky man, so what have you been up to, man?
Well, we had a huge gather round in Adelaide recently, so that's where all the football teams come to the one little city of Adelaide. So happily had a few beveraginos and watched a lot of footy. And then not much else. I'm going into a bit of a hibernation now. I'm just waiting for Survivor 50 to finish, and then I can get off the internet for a few minutes, and then hopefully come back to Australia from Malaysia with an 8-pack, and it'll be all good.
Yeah. Well, I haven't really been up to anything too cheeky or naughty myself, except I don't know if any of you guys are football or soccer fans, but Arsenal has a really high chance of winning the Premier League this season. Often they're known as the team that always comes second, and even in the charts of the best teams to come second, they're also ironically second as well. And so they often always come second, but it looks like they're in the clear to win the Premier League, and they've just reached the finals for the UFC competition against PSG.
UFC.
So there's a chance.
UEFA.
Sorry, what's that?
It's the UEFA Cup, I'm pretty sure.
UEFA Cup. Sorry. See,
UFC Cup.
I'm not a proper football fan.
Cup.
So. Look, it's some form of championship, and there's a good chance Arsenal could win 2 titles on the same month. So I'm pretty bloody excited for that. And a lot of great stuff to come. V and Drew are doing a great job covering American Survivor season 50, the season that everyone is pretending to care about. Plus, Drew is just about to start his 50 and 50. We watch his 50 seasons in 50 days and does a podcast on all of them every single day. I don't know how he's going to do it, but hey.
Amazing.
That's on him. I'll be watching from the sidelines because there's no bloody way I'll be joining him to do any of that. So make sure you tune in for that. Traders New Zealand is looking to come out pretty soon as well. Plus Traders Australia just around the corner too. So make sure you tune in for all that. Thank you so much, Nick and Useless, for joining the podcast. I've been your host, Mucky Hope Kakita Noa. I'll catch you all in the next one. Take it easy, guys. Ciao.
Woo! Thanks, Mucky.
Ooh.